Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever asked yourself, why do good people suffer? Or how do you hold on to faith when it feels like your entire world is falling apart? Well, today we're diving into one of the most intense and profound stories ever told about those exact questions, the story of Job. We're pulling from two really powerful chapters in the ancient book of Job, and we're going to focus on how this one man, pushed to his absolute breaking point, responds in a way that has, well, just echoed through the centuries. And this desperate cry from Job himself, wow, it just sets the stage perfectly. You can feel that this isn't just about physical pain. No, this is a deep, emotional, spiritual battle, and we're about to see just how it all unfolds. So we drop right into the middle of a superheated argument. Job is going through unimaginable loss, but his friends, they don't see a friend in pain. They see a chance to win a theological debate about why God allows suffering. They're not there to comfort him at all. Yeah, their goal wasn't to help him heal. Nope, it was all about being right. They just kept attacking him, hammering away at his weaknesses with what they thought was all this profound wisdom. But really, their words were just dripping with ignorance and arrogance. Okay, so to really get what Job was up against, we need to look at what his friends were actually saying to him. Let's start with this one guy, Bildad, who comes in with some seriously harsh accusations. Look at how Bildad builds his attack here. He's not just making one little point, he's constructing a whole case against Job. He's calling him self-destructive, wicked, essentially saying, Job, this is all your fault. You can see the cold, heartless logic on one side and the devastating human impact on the other. So how does Job respond to all of this? Well, he doesn't just get defensive. He goes somewhere else entirely. He starts describing this profound feeling of being completely and utterly abandoned. I mean, this is rock bottom. This is feeling totally alone in the universe. And maybe the most painful part of it all, he feels completely cut off from God. Think about that. The very source of justice he's crying out to now feels like his tormentor, blocking his every move and leaving him completely hopeless. Then the isolation just gets so much more personal. We're talking his own wife, his brothers, his relatives, the very people who should have been in his corner, they've all turned their backs on him. And finally, just when you think it can't get any worse, his entire social world just collapses. Friends, servants, even the little kids in the street are mocking him now. He's become a total outcast, completely alone. So after laying all this out, this total crushing abandonment, Job makes this one simple, just heartbreaking plea. He's not asking for answers anymore. He's not asking them to fix it. He's just begging for a little bit of basic human compassion. That's it. Okay, let's get to the turning point. Because right here, after hitting what seems to be absolute rock bottom, stripped of everything and everyone, something truly incredible happens in what Job says next. When you're in that kind of darkness, where do you even find hope? Job feels like everyone on earth has abandoned him, so he looks for justice somewhere else, beyond his miserable situation. But how does he do that? Where does that hope come from? To get what he says next, we need to understand this really crucial ancient concept of a redeemer, or goel in Hebrew. A goel was basically your family's champion, the person who was legally and morally required to stand up for you, to rescue you when you were wronged. And this is the crucial point. Job, in his darkest moment, declares with absolute certainty, I know that my Redeemer lives. He's saying his advocate, his rescuer, is alive. And then he takes it even further, saying that even after his body is destroyed, he will see God face to face. It's just a stunning statement. And you have to understand, this wasn't just some wishful thinking. It was a profound declaration of faith. He's putting his trust in a just God, even when every single piece of evidence on earth, his pain, the silence from heaven, his friends' attacks, is screaming the exact opposite. But Job's story doesn't just end with this personal moment of hope. He has one last sharp warning for his friends, and it serves as a pretty powerful lesson for all of us. He completely turns the tables on them. He basically says, hey, that divine judgment you keep lecturing me about? Well, it's real, and you are going to be held accountable for your actions and for all your cruel, misguided words. So what's the big takeaway for us? Well, first, that perseverance means holding on to faith in the middle of suffering. Second, that God's judgment is where the ultimate truth comes out, so we have to endure knowing the full story will be revealed. And finally, and this is a big one, what we say to people who are hurting has real, lasting consequences.
And that leaves us with a final question to really chew on. When we see someone suffering, are our words building them up, or are we, maybe a little bit like Job's friends, just trying to win an argument?